Are you interested in creating really outstanding texture inside of your resin pieces? Well, stick around. I'm about to show you how to make the most awesome silicone inlay using household fix-it items. Hi everybody, I'm Alex Gossi. I'm the owner of Magically Resin, and I'm partnering with Specialty Resin this year to bring you so many fun ideas for ways to use their products that maybe you've never thought of. I'm considered pretty outside the box, and I love how Specialty Resin products really opens the door to fabricating almost any idea that you have. And I absolutely love using products that are typically thought of as home repair items because I think that they make just the most amazing tools to use with resin and silicone. I'm going to be showing you how to use basic joint compound to make a base for a silicone inlay that is going to turn into something absolutely magical. All the products that I'm using today will be listed below in the description, but I encourage you to try this idea with a wide variety of substrates. There are lots of ways to make a silicone inlay. I've put the joint compound directly into the silicone mold. I sprayed the mold with mold release before I started this to make sure that I would have no trouble with the joint compound releasing from the silicone after I was done with this project. Then I spread the joint compound all around to make sure that you get full coverage on the bottom of your mold. It's really important when you're making a silicone inlay with any type of substrate that the bottom be completely covered. Then I like to give it just a few minutes to set up so that you can get some really fun texture in it. One of the real advantages to this particular product is it has an adhesive quality to it that makes for adding really fun stuff like glitter glass or crystal rocks or a wide variety of other things like glass pieces or mirror shards to give you a really incredible texture before you add your silicone, because then your silicone is going to have really incredible texture too. I put this aside and gave it 24 hours to dry. You want to make sure that anything that you're using as a substrate for your silicone inlay is completely cured or dry and has plenty of time to degas before you add any silicone to the top. Now you can see that I have some cracks in my base, which I did not intend. I should have moved this with support underneath it, but because I did not, it created cracks in it. But I thought I'd go with it because I thought, this is all about creating interesting texture, and what's more interesting than having cracks in the piece, which it turned out to be such a cool thing. I'm glad that I kept it, but that was a mistake. And if you don't want to have cracks in your base, but you have a mold that is large enough to have some give in it, you want to make sure and support the bottom of your mold before you move it. I gave my silicone a full 24 hours to cure, and this is the inlay we created. And now I'm going to dust it with some color shifting mica, but I love when I'm doing a color shifting thing to use a couple of different types of color shift. I think that makes for the most fun geode, very interesting visual depth, and a wide variety of color shift, even more so than you could get from just one type of color shift. So if you have a couple of different types of complementary color shift, this is an excellent way to play with testing the colors and how they work together. You'll also find I'm using a black background because I'm using the Tough-Cast black polyurethane to pour behind it. This is going to be a tray, and I want it to be very firm and have no sag or give, which this Tough-Cast is perfect for that. But the black on the back of any color shift creates a far more dynamic look, where if you were to use clear or white, you would get a very different look visually. So I encourage you to play with different backgrounds on your color shifting mica to get a wide variety of fun results. It's important at this point to make sure that you get really solid full coverage of your silicone mold. If you don't, then you're going to have spots on your inlay that are basically just black. After you're happy with the coverage, it's really important to turn it over and tap it. You don't want mica powder to float up into your resin and create dry pockets of mica that create divots on top of your piece. Now make sure and firmly place the silicone inlay in the bottom of the silicone mold so that when you pour your resin on top of it, that you're going to get a really nice coverage and that your resin isn't going to go down the sides. And I really like to start by pouring in the center of the inlay. Using any type of polyurethane resin as the base for any of your trays is going to make for a much sturdier product. If you've found that you've had pieces that you've sold at craft shows or anything like that that are still sagging, especially in the heat. I'm in Texas, and that's a real issue for me. I love having the base of my trays being a polyurethane, in particular the Tough-Cast, because it really just sets up beautifully and it never has any sag. You have a really nice firm tray forever. I wanted you to see how easy it is to clean off the flashing using this method of mold inlay creation. If you're trying to fit a mold inlay into a mold that has not been poured inside of it, you're going to end up with a lot more flashing and having a lot more cleaning that you need to do on the side of a piece. Now for the real magic. I love how it feels to demold a silicone inlay and see all of the crystalline amazingness that has been put into the Tough-Cast. And sadly, the camera doesn't even really pick up because this is so sparkly and shiny and geode. What you'll notice now is a lot of the color shift at this moment looks similar. That is just because it has a very matte texture. Once we cover this with resin, you're going to see the whole thing come to life, and it's going to happen right in front of your eyes. Now, I'm adding a product that I make myself called Mica Hall that I use to add interest to texture. This is a real advantage to using an inlay because you have so much interesting texture on top of the piece that you can do a tremendous amount of additions to it at this point. Mica Hall is made by starting with a dropper bottle and almost filling it up with 91% or higher isopropyl alcohol, and then adding in whatever mica that you like to use. I think it's particularly valuable with pearlescent, color shift, and metallic micas to really just get a nice little bit of oomph on top of the pieces that you're using, and it really helps to bring the geode idea to life. At this point, you could also use a little bit of acrylic paint, you could use some rub and buff, you could use a little bit of spray paint from a distance just to hit the peaks of the piece, but it's really just endless, the opportunity that you have once you have all of this texture. There's a lot of things you can do to just hit the peaks of the texture to create such depth in the final piece. I'm finishing this off with epoxy resin. I just think that this is such a wonderful way to have all of that intense visual texture on a tray that's flat. So extremely versatile and could be used in any room basically. One more thing that's really important to make note of is you don't want to risk your silicone mold sticking. I have never had an issue with my silicone attaching to the silicone mold. Depending on what you're using, there is a chance that your silicone mixture might stick to your silicone mold, and you don't want that. So even though I knew it wouldn't stick for me, I added Vaseline to my silicone mold before I poured anything at all, and then I also used mold release very generously throughout this project to make sure that it didn't stick. It's a good idea to do a tester on the bottom of your silicone piece if you're concerned about this. I hope that you enjoyed this process. I welcome any of your questions about any of the products that I used or the process that I used. There's no gatekeeping here. I want y'all to be able to make the greatest silicone inlays, and I am so happy to help. I'm Alex Gossi, and I thank you so much for your time. If you liked the video or if you're interested in future videos, please be sure and tap a like and leave a comment.